All right. Well, hello and welcome. This is going to be a little bit of a new test. I did a little video to see if this would work. I'm feeling optimistic. I haven't painted outside in a while, and there is a lot that goes into bringing all my stuff to a place, and both the painting stuff and the recording stuff. So, might be interesting, and there's the nature to contend with, and the changing scenery and lighting. So yeah, lots of challenges, but I think that it will be really fun. So I'm excited to paint today. I am in Vermont and sitting on a very beautiful hillside in a valley. This is the Mad River Valley, actually, I think. It's in that area in any case. And yeah, so I am gonna just do a little painting of the scene. The clouds have been changing a lot just as I've been sitting here and setting up, so I was originally gonna do a cloud painting, but now I'm getting a little nervous about that, so maybe I won't. But I don't know, I'm gonna do some painting, and it might take me a little bit to get set up. I've been experimenting with limited palettes for plein air, but I'm thinking that maybe that's one more extra challenge that I don't really need to worry about. So I think I'm just gonna put as many colors on the palette as I want to and use them all. I've got oil paint and I've got turpentine today, so it's a little different than what I normally do. So partially just because I'm expecting this is going to be like a one-session painting, so I don't want to introduce a lot of extra drying time or anything like that into it, so I'm just keeping it very simple. And yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'll just try it out. So unfortunately, I will not have a palette view today though, because I don't really have a second camera way of setting this up right now, so it'll just be what it is, and I will try to explain what I do for colors. So yeah, nice big scraper. I just move over some colors that I was using yesterday. Make a little room on here, and try not to be too fussy about my palette. So I think it's gonna just end up being a little on the messy side the whole time anyway. What I do think I want to do is I'm gonna lay in a liquid layer. I wasn't doing this before with plein air stuff, but I want to try it for one. So I'm gonna do a combo of white and ultramarine blue, I think, and build into that. So get some white, some ultramarine, and should really move my white over. Got it in a weird place, but I think maybe the more I set this up similar to my normal palette, the more comfortable it will feel. So move that white over to the left side, just so you know. And I've got my raw umber, and I've got some blue over here. Keep moving things. Move the ultramarine over too. Normally that's all the way on the right. And my cadmium yellow is usually kind of in the middle. And raw umber can go over next to the white. And we'll get a little bit of viridian green out. Some alizarin crimson. I had been experimenting a little bit with a red oxide as kind of an in-between alizarin and burnt sienna, but I think it might work, but I think it might just make things harder right now, so I'm not going to worry about that. Let's see, do I want any other colors to start with? It might be all right for a beginning. So mix up. Just do. Just take some white and the turpentine together. Just kind of dunking my knife in the turpentine to bring it over. I didn't bring my droppers, which maybe was a mistake, but we'll see. And then take this big brush, which does fit in there. And I'm gonna just put down a liquid layer. This is a thin, kind of gray and white. Start putting in something for the sky here. It's gonna lighten it up a little bit. This is lovely. I just kind of want to get moving. I'm not too worried about it. Take some of this ultramarine and do kind of the same thing. Grab that and start painting these mountains. Look at that. Now I almost have a landscape already. I think a big brush like this is a nice way to start a plein air painting. It's good way to get things going without worrying too much about all the different things that will go on later. I'm gonna even take a little glycerin. Just start working that in here. There we go. And now we have a layout. That feels good. The one I did yesterday when I was testing, I didn't lay it out that quickly, and it felt like because of the changing light, it just really felt like I was missing out a bit. So I'm gonna try now and bring in a little bit more of this sort of gray for some of these clouds. I've got a nice silver lining happening here on a bunch of these. And I'm gonna just choose a setup. I'm not gonna worry too much about this being completely accurate to anything. They're just the way I want to see these clouds. I know they won't stay anyway, so that's okay. But the neat thing about them is they have this dark outline on them. And kind of like, not really foreboding, because I think the thunderstorms have come and gone now. But there was a little of that earlier. Okay. Just mixing in kind of raw umber and ultramarine and white right now to kind of create these clouds. And they get a little lighter as they go back, a little bluer and a little lighter. So just let that all go in here. And then we have some very beautiful light blue sky peeking through. A lot of this cloud stuff is a little light and a little subtle. Just brush these out a little bit. With clouds, just a little softening. This brush almost creates like a cross-hatching type feel. I'll come in and detail the mountains up a little bit more after. Okay. Turpentine does dry really fast, so I'm almost not doing a very like wet type painting, even though I kind of had planned to. got some things starting to build up, which is nice. And I am recording, which is good. I got nervous for a second. Felt like things were going well, and then I was worried that I had made a mess of them. Ugh, good. So, that's a good shot. This brush just barely fits in here. That's okay. So now, I'm just going to keep working on the sky for a little bit because I want to kind of establish it while I have the light in a particular way. I think that losing that is a risk that comes with changing light. So just some of this, got like a light, this cadmium yellow and a little bit of titanium white. Actually, kind of a good amount of titanium white. And just gonna get these clouds in. I feel like they're tricky to establish all at once. Normally we'll do my clouds in a couple passes. So a little bit. I really have a good way that I like doing clouds. So I have to like not be too rigid and willing to adapt, I guess. I need a little bit of a very light blue. There's some sky. Just gonna do ultramarine and white. I could probably Sevres blue, but I don't think I brought it. So I think I'm just gonna go ultramarine and maybe just like a touch of Viridian. Crazy as that might sound. Just maybe a slightly cooler green. And then just a little bit of sky. This kind of progression of clouds. They're sort of going backwards here, away from me. I don't know. Let's see. Gotta go. Let's see, more gray, more blue. And there's something to this whole moving target painting kind of thing now. I know that people who are very good at it, so it's definitely possible. It just needs practice. For me. I think that it's good to do things you're not good at. Sky color there. Try not to make too much of a mess of these edges so that I can move them later more easily. And there's some nice bright blue. Just gonna keep going with that. Say it's gonna be right here. And this kind of warmer gray. Set it down here. Some of these clouds have a bit of a warm tone to them. Maybe that's actually be what's making them feel a little scary. We'll enjoy that about them. Okay. All over this white. I'm not using my favorite cloud knife, which is funny right now. I'm not really sure why. I just started going with this one, so I'm going to stick with it for a little bit. See where it takes me. But maybe soon I'll switch. Might take a brush to it a little bit too. That might be a good idea. Just make some of these shapes just a little softer as I go. I like these brush marks actually. It's kind of neat. It's like making these forms kind of take a little bit more shape. I'm trying to decide what size I like working for these paintings. Some of it will have to do like how long it takes me to paint one so that it feels finished to me, which can vary with any size anyway, but I do think it's a thing. And let's see, let's make it a little dark if I keep running through them with the brush, but I'll possibly lighten them up again later. I like the texture right now, I like the softness. I like these edges kind of running into each other. That sky area nice and clean and flat though. Maybe a couple of those little areas there. Same deal. Kind of bring a little bit more light back in over here. Put that away for now. You know, no matter what happens with it, as long as it's fun, right? So, I've got my mountains. I've got some clouds laid in here. Let's switch knives and let's put in these hills. Do a little bit more with them. Maybe do a little bit more. Do a little bit more with these clouds just for a second. Just sort of puff these in. Just create these light areas kind of coming a little closer. Oops. If I jump, it's probably because a bug flew at my face. So, don't be worried. I'm trying to think about how to like simplify this setup so that I don't have to bring too much stuff. And I can do this more often. And I realized that half of my equipment really was so that I could be standing up tall, which I don't even really want to do all that badly. So I was realizing I could probably trim this all down to allow less stuff if I just acknowledge that I prefer to sit on the ground while I paint. Oh wow, that's so cool. There's like a little hillside. It's really far off, and there's a barn and a little truck that just like drove down, and it's so small, so far away. That's really cool. I'm gonna try and put that road in here, and that barn maybe, if I can get that far. I think I will. I feel optimistic. I tried a different primer for this board as well. This is the Michael Harding non-absorbent acrylic primer, which I'm told is great for oil painting because it won't suck the oil out of the paint, so your paintings will stay shinier and more vibrant. It just won't eat up as much paint, which is something that I don't know, I have a real thing about surfaces, I guess. I don't know if a lot of painters get this into surfaces and surface prep, but I think about it all the time, and maybe it comes from my previous experience as a furniture finisher, but I just think a lot about furniture or paint layers and how things stick together, and I don't know. In some ways I think it makes me, I don't know, just a little bit more conscious of like the material of the painting. But maybe everyone's into this, I don't know. Okay. That's kind of nice. Alright, so get some, I'm going to make it a little bit of alizarin Viridian dark, which is going to be way too dark, but it's a nice dark purple. And I think I want to use some of it in these hills. So I'll just mix a little bit of that into some ultramarine and a little bit of white too, just because I don't want it to be too dark. I'm going to just pop in here and start, actually I'm going to go even lighter. Going into my sky color just a little to start. And just start putting in these hills. And let the sky color kind of blend into them. But especially back here. Start with the bluest tones. And then get a little darker and a little greener as I get closer. Alright, and then it just got really bright and everything changed, but that's okay. Okay. It's really cool. So these hills, as they're further away, they're very dark, and they kind of snap your eye to them. But then as they get closer, and then they get a little bit more green and a little bit more yellow. I mix a little Viridian and a little bit of cadmium together. And that's a little too green right now. I'm going to mix it into that previous blue and sky color. Just come a little bit up from those. Just try and drift this through first and see how that feels. It's pretty good. Go away, bugs. I don't need your input right now. But thinking about a setup for this where maybe I make a little box and I take that little, I have the palette and the painting on one thing, so I'd be mixing like more up here instead of down here, and then maybe I could get it all in one view, which would be pretty cool. See, that's a little too bright, a little too strong right now. So I'm gonna just bring it in around here, create this lower area. I think that's where it will be more useful. Look at that sort of green-red vibration that I was like, I'm really into that right now. Like it just really like snaps you forward, and it makes the ground look really like earthy too. Put a little bit more of this alizarin mix in here. Yeah, alizarin crimson, good color. Don't leave home without it, maybe. I don't know. It's one of my favorites. I don't know why I tried to get away from it. That's a lot of wind. That's okay. It's very bright. It's so good. Okay. So now I've got this other very dark hill. It's like a dark blue-green. It's a little closer. I'll try and make an appropriate color for that. Just bring it in. I think by getting the sky nice and light to start with, though, it really helped all these other dark colors kind of work together in a nice way. I'm trying to, let's see, go a little bit bluer, lighter. This palette is a real disaster. You should see it. It's actually, I don't know, I've had worse. But just going a little bit further back though, getting this blue-green a little lighter. And mixing some things in here. And then, yeah, okay. I'm gonna do a little brushing in here. I wanna kind of blend in this a little bit, but I don't want this to get too visually grabby yet. I want it to kind of just have a little texture, just have a little paint set down, but kind of give it a little room to breathe too. It's going to be some pretty kind of streaks of more of a yellow-green through here. So I'm going to want to be able to put that in without necessarily having to fight very thick paint for it. So try that. And there's my little farm. It's like so little over here. I'm going to try to put it in. I'm going to just give it some space. And actually has a little bit of this hillside here, kind of. Here. This is probably a little too thick. Maybe. Oh, that's fun. There's some kind of little green bug walking across my camera phone right now. Oh, that's cool. Alright, just put in these little trees. Just like thinking, I'm gonna go a little bit lighter with it, or a little darker with it actually, but I kind of liked these little brush marks in here. I'm trying to get like a sense of scale. There's so many little trees and little transitions and things happening. I think sometimes the most challenging thing is like choosing kind of how much of this really needs to be represented too. It's like definitely could be more abstracted down here. Put some of these more puffy tree shapes in. There's like another field there. We got some like, this like foreground flowers are really nice. Just building up some texture. I think because of the heat, this actually is drying just like a lot faster than I would expect. Which is actually, it's kind of nice. It keeps the painting from getting muddy, where things get too overmixed. Just a little bit around here, around here, around here. Okay. Put the brush down again. I'm gonna keep working on this little tree line here a little bit more. I just need to scrape out some of that blue. I think it's just too light. I like how it has a little bit. It's just offering a little bit more contrast here. So removing the paint actually can be a good thing to get when you want to get your contrast back. Is just giving this a little less to mix into. Not too bad. Just gonna keep doing little taps here. So, let's see. I don't know why that's funny to me. It just seems like, I think that when you're working from pictures, there is this tendency where everything is already simplified for you, and it can be nice. I've already been taking a lot of pictures here, so I'll have things to paint when I get home. But I feel like also kind of has this. It's a little too red. I think. Just get in the middle there. Butterfly. Hey, butterfly. It's easy, like when you have all this landscape around you, though, like not know where to stop at all. And I know you can do the little frame thing, but I don't know. I don't want to get too literal. Maybe that's what I'm thinking right now. Okay. But how am I gonna make this little farm happen? These are important questions. questions. Okay, so we've got that little row there. And I've got these kind of streaks that go up mountains. And building this in here like this. It shows like all these little tree shapes. All right, come on. Come on, bugs. Behave a little. Okay. Got some very warm greens. I was thinking maybe this is the time for the transparent red oxide because it is a little bit warmer. I would say it's pretty warm. Do a little of that with the green instead. Let's see what that does for some of our closer trees. Maybe a little bit of alizarin too. This line here. I wonder if you guys can hear my stomach growl. I'm probably gonna edit it out anyway, but maybe I won't. I don't know if these mics, I don't know how they pick up exactly the same. I haven't recorded with them as much as anything else, so these are kind of new, and they're a new adventure. Picking up a little brown, a little yellow, a little of everything here. The funny thing about the valley, though, is that you can hear things from so far away. Like I just heard someone's got like a circular saw running or something. Or maybe it's a chain. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a planer. I don't know. Maybe I can identify woodworking equipment through long distances. I don't know. But maybe it won't get picked up anyway. I was painting. At one point there was a dog barking. The dog was probably miles away, but it all echoes. So it's very quiet and very, very peaceful. And there might not be anyone around for a very long ways, but then you'll just hear these little things. Which is cool. It's interesting. Okay. Let's do that. It's a little bit better. Just kind of taking these dark areas and like dipping them down in between some of these sort of foreground trees that I'm seeing. That's kind of working, I think. I'm gonna take this all the way down here. I think. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll do that for now. Try to give me a place to sign it anyway. But it's nice. It's nice doing this. Hopefully I have not got... Oh my gosh, I've got so much paint on my nose. If you needed proof that I can't see myself in this mirror, I think that counts. I think that would count as it. All right. So I've got tiny farm, little green field. I want to get in there. I'm gonna take a little bit of cadmium yellow and a little bit of viridian green. Just start putting this in. I think it's probably a little too strong for right here, but It's going to mix into this blue underneath it a little bit too, so maybe it's not really a big deal. But the color of the fields are definitely a bit more green, whereas the trees are like more of a blue-green. That's kind of working. So do that. Just kind of framing it out. Here, kind of pull these little trees up. Maybe hit them with a little bit more of a dark color. I don't know. How do you paint? Probably no one would do it like this but me, but maybe not. Maybe lots of people would do this. I have no idea. It's just kind of the product of a lot of experimenting, I guess. But I'm definitely feeling a lot more comfortable with the oils in general, which I think is helping for a painting like this, where it's like a little bit more wild in terms of the environment outside. So this is a little light pasture area here as well. And I've got some dark trees back here. I'll just carry these in for a little bit longer now. I try to do these brush marks like in the shape of the trees that I see, and generally just kind of helps it feel more complete, even if it's not quite exact to anything. That's kind of nice. Let's see if I can put a barn in there. So this barn, it's got a silver roof, and that's most of what I can see, but it's got a little bit of red barn there too. So I'm gonna need a small knife for this. So I'll just go ahead and put in the bottom of it first. And then I can kind of chop the end off. Let's see. So it's got this tree line here. Let's see anyway. Keep that simple. And then I've got it's almost like the sky color. It's nice and bright though. So it's kind of reflecting. And maybe this is a little brighter than it actually is, but I think that's okay. The question is, did I make it too big? Maybe a little too big. Just smudge that first. And then take that. And I've got just a little bit of another color here, which just kind of blobbed on. That's not too bad. Okay. And then I've got these trees that are kind of coming up in front here, which is what I didn't worry about. Getting that exactly right. Put a little bit of white into this green that I had here. Just kind of highlight. Just put a little bit more sun in this pasture. And this here. A little bit of a breeze. It's messing with me right now. See, you can hear the dog now. Maybe you can. I hope you can. It's kind of annoying. It's like kind of fine if you're here. It's just whatever. But I could understand not wanting to listen to a recording of a dog barking. I usually don't want to listen to a recording of a dog barking. Got that barn. Okay. It's not a very detailed barn. It's a faraway barn. But it's there. I'm kind of impressed with it. If I could just not mess it up. I want to put these trees in that are kind of surrounding it and get this tree line right. But maybe it's best to let it sit there for a little bit since my paint's drying pretty fast anyway. And work on a little bit of these. I've got these lower trees here that have they've got actually a lot of light hitting them, so they're actually a bit on the bright side too. Maybe that will help kind of draw the eye toward my little pasture back there. Just put this light yellow and start. I don't need this to be yellow, but I knew with all the blues that I had going on, they would probably mix in anyway. So just figured let's put them in here. Try and simplify this. Get these shapes in, but not in too much of a complicated way. Get this will be a little darker down here. Maybe get some of these birch trees going on. I'm kind of really into birch trees right now. I think because they're very satisfying to add in, so I'll probably add some. They're there, so. Scratching my knee, I realize that's probably picked up a little bit more than it normally would be. My clouds have actually been, I think it stopped being so windy. The clouds have actually kind of stayed in place, kind of. At least the lighting hasn't changed too much. Let's see. So I've got these trees here. I've got this stuff here. I'm gonna just make a little bit of a mess for a minute. Just trying to decide how much foreground detail I really need. Kind of like having this energy here of this tree line. I don't know how much I really need it. I think that needs to be there. It's not as well represented as it is right now. See if be, I guess maybe one of those things that would be good to have like a viewfinder for, because it's like a little bit tricky to decide kind of where this view ends, but it's not really that tricky. I should have just decided at the beginning. Okay. Some really funny greens that are hard to make. And I don't know. I always think they should be easier than they are. But, like, a little bit, just like a little bit of a yellow green drifting through here, but like that's way too strong. Just go over it with some of that. I think it's just that I need it to be lighter too, maybe. Just soften it out and try again in a minute, maybe. I think maybe it was just too light in general and needed to just find another way. Maybe it's because of the white that I had put in earlier. It's just mixing in a little too much, maybe. I like this little line, but I think it's too sharp. Just kind of dabbing it. I was only just looking at edges and deciding what should be how. Dry out some of these little edges I'm seeing. This is like pine trees in the foreground. I think would be a good little element to have. Kind of shows you that you're at the top here. And we're only seeing the tip of this tree. It's a little tricky. I have to put that in with a knife because I've got very thick paint laid in now. Keep just adjusting with the brush here. Just kind of refinding these different planes. I feel like this is something you can see kind of evident in a lot of Van Gogh's work, is kind of just finding these different sort of pathways through the image. Sort of defining and redefining, and bringing things back. Having a good time though. It's a nice session so far. Doing some things here. More things here. Let's take our knife back out. Put a little bit more. Keep texturing these hills just a little bit. If I had like another knife that could do this a little bit more in one shot, that might be better, but I'm gonna just do what I can do. I think the hat's helping the bugs stay away from me. They were like buzzing at my face a lot more without it. I still didn't get any bug spray. I should. Just kind of forgot. I like this barn, but I feel like it's still kind of bad. It's very thick. I don't feel like I don't know. There's some trees that kind of go up in front of it. Maybe if I just kind of get it nestled in there, it will feel a little bit better. It's also just like a very strong rectangular detail in the middle of all this. Maybe that's just a little strange no matter how you do it. I chose that it was going to be here, so I'm going to keep trying to keep it. I think some of these little rows, they're little dotted edges of the pasture with different bushes and plants. Maybe I just need to get them to kind of feel similarly detailed, so it's not just one thing going on back here. Not quite level. Maybe that's like right. Okay. That's a little better. There's a little like house part of this, or like a tower. Build that up. And put the little roof on there too. It can be even brighter maybe. That's kind of fun. I didn't entirely intend that little blob to end up on there, but it's actually works pretty well. Some of these little uprights and verticals. I think there's like a little shed over here. Trying to kind of carve it in. There's another little house over here. I guess I have to watch out for the sun going into this mirror. I can get a little blind spot. Let's see. That's getting better. I feel like maybe that's fine. And I need to just bring up the foreground now so that settles kind of back into its place. So maybe might bring out a color. It's like, I don't know. I find this to be a risky color, but it's really handy sometimes. And this is the phthalo yellow green. When I need like the brightest green that I can possibly have, this one sometimes can be really handy. I'm going to mix it in with a little bit of white because it is a little transparent, so it might not sit on top of all this stuff quite as well as it could if I don't. And just start working it in here. Maybe with a little viridian though. Maybe don't go full phthalo yellow green just yet. Be a little bit reasonable. I think these closer trees here are going to benefit from it. Yeah, these are up close and they might be like poplars. I'm not 100% sure. They're fairly like straight up and puffy. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I think it's starting to give me this effect of these closer things now getting just a little brighter. Really wanted this to have a sense of depth. Obviously with the mountains and whatnot, it's like, it's kind of like the perfect scenario for getting a lot of depth. And so I thought it might work well. Do some trees a little bit further back. These are going to have a little bit more blue in them. And they're not going to go all the way down. They're going to be a little bit more nestled in back here. Maybe I'll put in some trunks for them as well. That's good, okay. And maybe a little bit of the... Oops. Wow. That was a lot of paint. I did not mean to put that much paint on. Let's put that down there. Kind of a happy accident. It kind of worked out. Let's see. It's pretty nice. Putting in a little bit there. I've got, as I get up a little bit higher here, too. I'll try and put in some of these like light brown yellow streaks I'm seeing in this tree. I'm gonna layer over these, but they're in here, and I think they help set this tree off from its background. And I think it's really good if you have different trees, not having them all the same color. I think that they aren't, for one thing, and I think additionally it just gives you more of a sense of the space. The farm still looks weird, but I'm just trying to be patient with it. Go away. Something just buzzed in my ear. But on the whole, I'm very happy with this setup. I think I'm outside, I'm enjoying the sun. I've got my hat. I'll have a hat to look on video. I haven't looked at a hat on video like this in a while, so I don't know. But it's a little bright. It might be a little too bright. But too bright is not too hard to deal with. Too bright. It's pretty simple because we can just come in here and put some brush marks in. Start getting these shapes just kind of blocked into the background this way. And then as I come a little closer, I can do a little more with this and kind of get this shape kind of, it's like a bowl shape maybe. Yes, yeah. It's like all these branches are kind of coming up like this. And I'm going to even go a little wild, go into the sky with that. Some of these. Yeah. There we go. It's feeling pretty good. This is almost like a little extra. Maybe that doesn't need to be. Just give it a little more twist here. Just trying to make things feel like they belong together. Across here, just bringing a bit more of that green through. Okay. Do the same thing over here. And I'm going to just kind of pick up on the other side here. Hill kind of goes down and then comes back up. There's actually some really pretty little white flowers too. Kind of part of this scene. I think I'm gonna try to put them in. Still. How am I feeling about that? Oh, that barn. I think the barn's doing a lot better now. It was just too contrasty when it was like there by itself, but now it's starting to feel like it belongs there. I feel like this one little tree with it could belong there a little better. Maybe that's good. Okay. And here, one of these white flowers. I'm gonna just kind of dash in some white, and then I might try to sort of texture them a little bit more with the brush. Do a little bit on this side too. Just gives the sense of this hill, this field sort of flowing up toward us. Also from these, just this little edge. It's like those little flowers are catching just a little extra sunlight. Some white and some yellow and some green together. Just bring in a little bit more. There we go. I like that. I think that feels pretty good. Scratching in some little trees here. I like this little, just kind of carry on. It's almost like this, like if we had a camera and we were focused in, that this area here might be the area that's most in focus. And so even though we have some things that are closer to us and some things that are further away, and maybe we're just kind of zooming in on little farm. That's the theory I just had. I made it up. But actually, it kind of makes sense to me. I think you do need to choose what's in focus. Even if you didn't really choose how many things you wanted to paint at the start. Okay. Got these birch trees here. I was thinking about scratching in some trunks for them. I'm gonna use this big straight knife. Just try it. Maybe. What's the nice thing about the birch trees is you can kind of just remove some paint and create them. It's pretty accurate to how they look as well. Maybe a couple over here too. Just drain a little bit of this yellow green onto the tops of these trees here. Again, just kind of bringing this sort of very saturated paint sort of closer, kind of directing us toward our focal point here. That's kind of good. I'm going to take this other knife now to just a little bit of a rounder look for it. Just kind of bring it in. Yeah. There we go. A little bit more, just a little bit of white here. There we go. I can step back from it for a second. That little shine on the top of that roof there. Additionally, let's see some sticks in here. I think it's like a spruce, maybe? I don't know. A little cad orange, actually. I was gonna do cad yellow, and then I just was like, maybe I'd mix a little red into it, and maybe orange is a better play. So I'll take a little orange and mix it into this color that I had already. And just start open a little bit of orange in here. I kind of see it. I see it in there. And I see its potential to look good. So I'll try it out. Yeah. It's pretty good. Let's do a little more Sensory Meridian here. Just gonna put in a couple of darks. Oh, it's a complicated painting. I feel like it's hard to know where to stop, I guess. Once you get to a certain point, just keep adding things. You realize there's really no stopping until you decide that it's really time. Maybe it is time. And also another thing I've been thinking about with these is if there's any chance that I want to refine them a little bit more back in the studio after they've had a little time to dry. It might be a good opportunity to fix some little things. But maybe they're better just left the way they are. But I don't know, maybe a part 2 is worthwhile on these. I'll just scrape off some extra paint. Keep thinking for a little bit. Mostly this is cuts. I want to be able to handle these and move it into a little box that I brought for carrying my paintings. But the edges will stick, so I don't want them to stick. Well, I think I might sign it. I can just go ahead, give it a signature. And maybe we'll sign it in this slightly orange color too. Alright. And I can always go back into it, and that's okay. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night, or whatever you're off to next. Here's my little, try and figure out how to take a thumbnail picture. See if I can do that.